Hi everyone, it's Cassandra Williamson. I am coming to you live from the Blue Castle gas station. I don't know what it is, if that's the name of it or not, but it looks like a big blue castle. It's in Louisa, Kentucky on 23, and I'm going north. I'm traveling towards Ashland, Kentucky, Catlettsburg, Kentucky, and so, yeah, and I am here. I just had to get some gas and had to take care of the business. And so I'm going to step out for a minute and see if this will still connect this way and kind of show you a little bit about where I am right now. So I'm going to pull up into the sunlight, then I'll get out of the car, okay, and kind of show you where I am. I think that might be a road. I don't know if that's a road or not. Is it a road? Looks like a road. So I'm just going to park right here on the side of it and then take a gander out to here at, what is this guy? It's Marketplace, Baskin Robbins in here and all that kind of stuff. So let me get out and we'll just kind of look around for a second. I'm gonna flip the camera around too. So there we go. Now, let me get out of the car. So here we go. Let's take a look and get back in the car. Okay, here we are. Feels good outside actually. Feels really good out there. Wow. I think it's about 85 degrees. All right, so I'm gonna go back out. I got to get on 23 North and continue my little journey to Huntington, West Virginia, where our area Veterans Affairs Medical Center is located on Spring Valley Road in Huntington. That's where I'm headed. I got to get an X-ray and get that out of the way today. You know, it's on my shoulder. Phew, left shoulder. I don't know what it is. It just keeps hurting, and it's not consistent pain or anything like that. It's just, ow, ow, what a bump or a hole. So anyway, it's not really consistent in that sense. It's like if you if you're sleeping, it hurts, and it's crazy. So anyway, I am back out on 23, traveling north, and I have the camera this time facing out through the window of the car. Ashland is 26 miles away. We'll turn on 64 before we get there, and then turn off on 52 to go up to get over onto the road that goes to the airport, Huntington Airport, which goes out towards the VA center. So, yeah. So anyway, well, I was talking about quite a few things just a little while ago before I went through a dead zone and my phone got hot. So everything had to be turned off and reset and started over again. So anyway, here we are, and let's see. So what you're looking at right now is, well, just some beautiful lands of eastern Kentucky. the mountains aren't nearly as high or sharp or close together on right here. Um, it's still pretty though. And I never would have said that either a number of years ago, back when I was a kid growing up in this region of eastern Kentucky. I never would have said it because I always thought it was dusty and dirty and musty and just ugh. I was in a hurry to get away from here. Felt like I was living in a cave. Felt like the allegory of Plato's cave, you know. Felt like I've been chained down to the floor staring at the shadows as they went by on the back wall, coming through the entrance of the cave. The shadows with the light behind them. Anyway, I don't know if you know that story or not. It's a Plato's story, allegory of the cave. The funny thing is, I really like those kind of things. So I thought that maybe it would be a good idea after my kids were adults to get them something for Christmas that would be memorable. So I got them copies of Plato's Cave, the allegory of the cave, and said, this is something I really think you ought to be reading. And I don't know if they ever read it or not. That's been quite a while ago, but I thought it was funny. Looking back on it, it's funny. And another thing, I really, really thought, I don't know what it was I was actually thinking. I knew academically, I knew what was going on. But anyway, my son was born. My son was born. I mean, he couldn't have been just a couple of months old at that. And I told Patty, I said, well, I want to get some educational stuff for it. On your end, signals kind of, it waves in and out around you. So there's a power plant that just to the right of me right now. Smokestack, big one, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so here we are traveling. I need to get my speed limit down, my speed back down. I'm going like 70 miles an hour. I get cruise control. I got to use cruise control. Otherwise, you never know how fast you're really going. You can't sense it physically in the car. So it's just like, you better use cruise control because you'll have the blue lights flashing behind you. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I'm back down now. I'm down to 58. So we're much better than 70. I just happened to look at my little heads-up display, the HUD display on the front of the car here. It says, you're doing 70 miles an hour. And I go, oh no, better drop that back down. So, well, I'm glad all of y'all are with me, and I do appreciate you riding along today as I go to Huntington. The earlier episode I had, before I went dead and before I got hot, we were talking about a lot of stuff that had been going on over the past weekend and what it's like, what it's like just being a trans person in this country today. Because everything, every day there is something that's being said negatively about trans people. and that gets to weigh on you really heavily. I mean, and you have your rights and freedoms and all of that litigated before the U.S. Supreme Court, before every court in the country, every most of the major, or most of, oh, what was it, 23, 24 states in the country have legislated against us in some capacity, and we know it won't stop there. We know they're going to go after the adults in the class too, and the whole group. I mean, they're not. I mean, how do we know that? You're going, how do you know that? Well, look, they just kicked all of the trans people out of the military, active duty. They just kicked them all out. Why? Why'd they kick them out? Well, there's no good reason to, because these people were doing their jobs well. They were doing it exceptionally well in many cases. They had achieved their rank meritoriously. They were there doing their work. Many, it's been decades, literally, almost 2 decades for most, in the service, and they get kicked out. They were adults, war fighters, space scientists, and military police, and combat arms people, and you name it. Been involved in everything. Submarines, Supply Corps, Coast Guard, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, all of them. We're in all these different branches, and they were doing their jobs well, and they got kicked out. Why? Because this administration is filled with a bunch of goofballs. They're filled with a bunch of people who think they're going to impose their religion on the entire nation, and they're doing it. They're doing they are telling you what they're going to do, and you're not paying attention. You're not heeding the warning. And it's like the person I spoke about earlier. His handle over on Twitter was anti-communist, okay? And it finally got to the point where I just flat out asked this person, I said, are you a fascist, a theocratic fascist? Are you going to follow in the footsteps? Are you following along with Matt Walsh? Are you following along with Charlie Kirk? These people who think that women do not have the right to vote, that the 19th Amendment should be repealed, that women should not have the ability to set up their own banking accounts or credit cards. And if they really push down hard on it, they probably don't even want you to drive, like Saudi Arabia. They want you, women, me, as a trans person, any minority in this country, subjugated to them, period, under their thumb. It's not about religion. They'll try to wrap all of the stuff that they say in the flag of religion, but it's not that. It's power. It's authoritarianism. It is fascism, period. Authoritarianism stepped up to the point where they're telling you what to think and say and what to believe. It becomes fascism. Well, this person, anti-communist, when I finally confronted him, he listed a group of names to me, thinking maybe I wouldn't figure it out. But what he did was he put, as his number one choice was Paul, the second choice was Franco, third choice was Trump, and the fourth choice was Uncle Addie, A-D-D-I-E, Uncle Addie. Now, if y'all don't know anything about our history, world history, some of those names you might not connect them. The first clue is, the first thing you can look at the fact that they included within that list Franco, fascist leader of Spain during World War II. That's Franco. And he actually admires this person, that that's who we should be following. And I started digging around it. I didn't know Addie or Uncle Addie together. Doing it really, just kind of pulling it together. And then I found out that the nickname that people gave Hitler was Addie. Uncle Addie. So Adolf Hitler, that was the fourth name there after Trump, okay? But the first one was Paul, and that one kind of threw me for a minute until I started digging around and finding out names of other people who were also fascist in that same lane, and it turns out that Joseph Goebbels' first name was Paul. So you got these World War II fascists with the exception of Trump thrown in that list. So I asked this person, I said, what are you, a theocratic fascist or a fascist? And he replied back, no. Well, he didn't say no, he said ethical fascist. But then he did qualify that. He said ethical fascist, but power is seductive and they wouldn't stay ethical very long. But he's an ethical fascist. That's what he believes in, ethical fascism. Okay? And I'd never heard those two put together. That was a first. All right, an ethical fascist. Wow. Wow. And then he said, but once fascists get into power, power corrupts and they're no longer ethical. But he still calls himself an ethical fascist. So what is fascism? Well, it's an authoritarian strain of leadership, of governance that basically tells you what to think and do. And it is nation first. It was Germany first. It's USA first. It's America first on steroids. There's nothing wrong with putting your nation first or your family first or your people first. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when it goes so far that you are imposing your will upon the entire country and making them do what you want because you think you have a right to lead and they can't do it on their own and they can't govern themselves democratically. So what we're looking at is an ethical fascist, okay? Trump is by no means an ethical person. And if you think he is, well, I don't know what to tell you. This man is totally amoral, okay? Completely. He doesn't care about anything except for the fact that he wants his legacy to be president of the United States, and really, comes right down to it, really, leader of the free world with a capital L. So much for America first. But that's Trump, though, folks. That's exactly what he thinks. He thinks he has a right to lead the world, tell them what to do. No, just look around. Look around. Look around at what he's doing. He's telling United Nations that those proposals or those regulations or those, can't think of the word. Anyway, anything that you produce out of there, well, it's got to make sure it has nothing to say with gender and gender identity or anything like that, or transgender. Completely has to be removed. Even if the proposal is a good one, if it has those words in it in any way, then the U.S. rejects it. And that's what they're doing at the United Nations. That's what they're doing in every organization around the world that they can get their hands into. That's what they're doing in every country around the world. Notice what Vance has been doing in England and in Germany, and when he travels around the world. You know what he does? Yeah, he goes out there and says, no, you got to let people speak freely, and you got to get rid of all this stuff about gender. And you got Viktor Orban over there in Hungary going, yay, yay. He says, Viktor's going, I got rid of women's studies and I'm pushing down and threatening and blocking anything to do with LGBT stuff. You know where he got it from? Alliance Defending Freedom, a U.S. organization, pushed it there and actually got to the point where they were so closely tied together that they invited Viktor to speak at CPAC, you know, the Conservative Political Action Committee thing. So yeah, I mean, and Putin, this is why Trump kind of likes Putin a little bit, because he hates the same people. He hates the same LGBTQ plus people You know, he's regulating against them, and you can't. Putin is regulating against them, and you can't do any kind of pride stuff, or you can't be transgender, you can't do any of this kind of stuff, and you can't even talk about it. You know, like they do down in Nigeria, maybe, yeah, or some other countries in West Africa, where Christian nationalists have gone in there and told them that they need to write laws into their constitutions, or write clauses into their constitutions that prohibit anything to do with LGBT stuff. Those came from American pastors. We export our hatred. We export it globally. We did it in the 1920s and 30s. The 1920s, we started talking about the KKK was big, you know, and we wanted to make sure races were separated, and all of that kind of thing. And we were pushing back against all of that here in the U.S. And we started the eugenics thing in the 20s and 30s with Bertrand Russell and many others in academia. They were preserving the one race, eugenics, calling out. They believed that if you had a disability, you would be called out. Hitler picked up on a lot of this stuff. Mussolini did too, specifically. Picked up on all of this stuff and imported it directly into his thinking. He was thinking that since it was already talked about in the United States, since it was already something that they were doing over there, that the U.S. wouldn't rise up against it. He didn't think we would be the ones to actually help lead the world to take him down. Well, if the U.S. is good at one thing on the global stage, it's exporting all of our hatred to other people, and then when it gets really bad over there, then we rise up and try to stamp it back down. But we started it. We're good at that. We are really good at it. Giving everybody else all of our problems, and then when they use it and take it to the next level, we have to go back over there and take it away and fight back against it. But then we don't learn or change on our own. We forget, conveniently. So anyway, with Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of the Navy, and the Secretary of the Air Force, and all the stuff they did last week, I mean, you started out with academic review board that Hegseth set up, or the Secretary of the Navy set up to review everything going on at the Naval Academy, all the academic standards of the Naval Academy, and all the literature and the syllabi and everything that was used there, to review it all to make sure that it fit their ideological purity test. And then we jump on over to the Air Force that decided that, hey, yeah, we offered all these trans people who had 15 to 18 years of service, we offered them an opportunity to retire early. But at the end of the week, they said, nope, we've decided not to give that, even though they gave it to some people. They're taking it back. They took it all back. No one was approved for any of that. They sit down and reviewed all the papers and everything. They didn't review any darn thing. They went in there with an ideological purity test. They're trans people, and we don't want them in here. So we're just going to make their lives miserable, not give them anything for their time in service. So, cruelty is the point, after all. And then Hegseth does his little bit of reposting an interview where his pastor, Doug Wilson, from Moscow, Idaho, of the Christ Church, I think they call it Kirk, or Kirker is a word for church too. It comes from, that's a German. Well, I don't know if it's German or not. I'm not entirely sure of that. Anyway, it means church. Kirk, Kirker, Christ Kirker, Christ Kirk, something like that. That's how they define themselves around town in Moscow, Idaho. But anyway, so that interview, Doug Wilson was talking about this very calmly and politely and all this kind of stuff. and the Christian nationalism and all that. And then they interviewed two of the associate pastors, and they were asked about um, the right of women to vote, and they said, nope, 19th needs to be repealed. And then they interviewed a man and a man and a woman, married couple, and the woman pointedly just says, "I submit to the will of my husband," and I'm going, "Oh, like hell." No, I'm sorry. That is not going to work. And no voting. We want to take back their women's ability to vote, to own their own credit cards, their own bank accounts, to open all those things up. They want to roll all that stuff back. And I'm not being hyperbolic about it either. Oh my God, it's just like I got to go 64 East. I was about to fly right on into Lexington. So let me go out this road. Whew. I get to talking and it's just, oh, Katie bar the door, right? All right, so now I'm turning on 64 West, or East, I mean. I'm going to go across Big Sandy River. On one side, we have the Big Sandy River, and you can get off at Canova and Cerrito. I'm going to get off up here at 52 South, exit number 1, and Ohio River's on the opposite side, over to my left. Central Appalachian Inland Port at the Big Sandy River. Here we go. It's the Big Sandy. Big Sandy. Well, it looks kind of puny down there. Yep, it's puny. When it floods, it's not. So, exit 1, and we'll get off on exit 1 so I can go over to Spring Valley Road, go towards the airport. I'm going toward Tri-State Airport, and then I'll make an adjustment and go to Spring Valley Road. Okay. Sign, exit number 1, 52 South Canova, Cerrito. And if you were with me the last time I came over here, which was last week, I actually did a little live streaming from the VA into Huntington to the flood wall, looking over at the river, going then into Cerrito and Canova, and went past the Camden Park. That was the big theme park around here, and that thing looked really small this time around. I mean, it's run down, dilapidated. I guess people still go there, though. Camden Park and that old wooden roller coaster. I hated that thing. Bing. Okay. Jeez, that was loud. Don't know if you heard it. Anyway, so I'm going to go follow the signs to Williamson. How you like that? Actually, I'm going to go. Where am I going to go here? 52 South. Okay. Oop, I better wait for the cars to get by, though, huh? That's not 52. That's 64. Here we go. All right. So 52 South, 75 East Airport Road. Next left. We're going to get over in the next lane. Going to the airport road. And you can go with me up on the hill to the VA. Signal's good here, which is good. Now Huntington's near here. The University of Marshall University's here. This is welcome to Cerrito. We'll pass through this. And there's Maynard's Body Shop. No doubt a cousin, because they're all related. There's Maynards in my family. My grandmother was a Maynard before she became a Scaff. So yeah, they're all related. All came out of North Carolina. The Maynards. It's curious though, because there's a lot of them in Massachusetts too. But I'm not quite sure the connection between those Maynards and the ones that were in North Carolina. Could have been the same bunch, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So we're kind of Going along the road to that's Cold Branch that way, road work, 1,500 feet. Ah, there we go. So up here, I'm going to be turning onto, well, straight ahead and up the hills to the airport, Huntington Airport. I've flown out of Huntington Airport one time. And that's when I went to Great Lakes for boot camp back in '77, a long time ago. Whoops, that person's going to make a interesting stop. So I'll go right here to Walker Branch Road. And now, let's go over Walker Branch Road. Through the valley, through the dale, here we go. It's really pretty. I mean, I really like this, where it's just vibrant green, it's sunny, it's gorgeous out. Now there are a few rundown places, but that's all right. That's quite all right. That gives the place character, right? Anyway, so yeah, this road actually goes to Spring Valley Road. I think it is. Might be another road in between here and there, but so just hang on as we continue the Herschel Woody Williams VA Medical Center in Huntington, West Virginia. And go up and get an x-ray in the radiology department. Uh-oh, I can't take you in with me into the VA because there's no videoing there. That's one of the policies of the VA. You know, actually, I don't mind following the policies of the VA for the most part. I've done a lot of stuff with the VA over the years. A lot of stuff with the VA. Been involved in research projects and all kinds of things a number of years. Went out and actually visited probably about 85% of all the VA medical facilities within the United States in the lower 48. So I had an opportunity. I was in a place where I actually was able to travel to all of the lower 48 states and visiting with a lot of veterans, make sure that they were receiving the medically appropriate care and just checking in on them. It was after COVID, so it was an opportunity for people to connect, and did some great things with that. Met some amazing people all around this country in every state. I've yet to get to Alaska and Hawaii, but I'm putting my plans together to go there, to go to those two states. I want to get to all 50 states. There's 2 left. That's my bucket list states, Alaska and Hawaii. I had planned on going down to St. Kitts and Nevis, down in the Southern Caribbean. But I said, look, I want to go down there because that's where Alexander Hamilton was born and lived the first 17 years of his life. I want to go down there because that's where he ran the general store, basically, that his mother's family had. But I want to go down there. But I do want to finish out these 2 states, too. So which one do I go first? Do I go to Alaska, Hawaii, or do I go on down to Grand Cayman? No, not Grand Cayman. Down to St. Kitts and Nevis. It was actually on Nevis, the island that it's a 2-island system, St. Kitts and Nevis. And yeah, so I want to get down there. I'm a big fan of Alexander Hamilton. All right, so now we're on Spring Valley Road and Spring Valley High School, I think. Probably got to slow down. Speed limit 15 if flashing is not. So we're in good shape. If any of you have been to this area, this is, I mean, like I said, this is it's a nice place. It's a nice place. The VA here has been really good to me. And good for most veterans that I'm aware of. I now speak with a lot of people, and there's a lot of trepidation and anxiety in the staff, obviously, and staff shortages, and they've been letting people go and all kinds of stuff all across the country. And people have been leaving of their own free will because they just can't handle They can't deal with the ignorance of the leadership. So this is the end of the school zone, and here we go. This is Spring Valley Freedom Baptist Church right there. And we'll go up, not very far up here. We're really, really close to turning off on the road that goes up on top of the hill. Forget what the name of this little road is. Honor or something, or what's the name of this little street here? Honor Hill, maybe, or what's it called? Honor Hill. Honor Hill Road, going up to the VA. The VA Hospital. The Herschel Woody Williams VA Medical Center in Huntington, West Virginia, and also Marshall University has a School of Medicine here. So, I mean, this campus is beautiful. I've been to some really gorgeous campuses. I mean, the one out in Sheridan, Wyoming, that was gorgeous. The one up in Maine, that was beautiful too, because it was big, tall pine trees going out to it. And it was just gorgeous to go out to the campus. And this one is too. I mean, all of them have something that is pretty unique, including the one in Manhattan, New York, and in the Bronx. I've been there. And yeah, they're all fascinating. Had some good people, good leadership people in all of those places. So here we are going up on top of the hill, and the campus is in front of me somewhat. And I'm going to go find a parking place. So this is the campus up here, and I want to turn into the parking lot here. Let's see if I can find a place where I parked the last time. Down here by the water tower. There was a spot here. Probably not here now. No, somebody's occupying the whole spot. Well, that's the, oh look, nope, somebody's there. They're having a busy day today. It is crowded here. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna go around and up. I've been in one VA, well, a couple actually, that have this, but there are some VA facilities, medical centers that are so big that they use golf carts inside, in the hallways, to take people from one place to the other. I rode on one, forget where it was at, but I rode with this person, and that, yeah, I mean, it was like, wow, just amazing. And here we are zipping around inside a medical center, VA medical center, on a golf cart. It was fun though. Let me see if I can find a place here. Wow. Probably gonna have to park way down here at the other end. There's nothing open here. My. Well, that'd be a fun walk, right? Get my exercise in for the day. Yeah. I'm gonna let this person pull out and just take that spot. I hope. All right, here we go. I'm gonna park under the trees. Oh, this is pretty. There you go. Parking out in the trees. And I don't know what's down that way. So I'm going to take you with me, and we'll go walking over toward here. But as I get closer to the main entrance, I'll be turning this off. Okay. So we turn that off, and hopefully we can still continue our little broadcast thing. I'll get my purse and stuff together. Okay, get a sip of this. That and that. Okie dokie. Whoops, I locked myself in. No, cancel. I'm not ending the stream. Oh, I know what that was. I hit the wrong button. Look at that. Okay. The VA facility. You can get the water tower up top up there. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's up in the trees. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's pretty. Ah, and let's see. So here's the campus in front of me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off now, though, because I don't want to cause any difficulties. Have a great